Hey people, it's your boy. Welcome back. We've got birds chirping, we got dogs barking, and we're ready to get into it to finish off this chapter on Hermes. With our going through our secret teachings by Manly PP. Everyone say hello to Carl. And, let's just, I'll say hi to chat. Howdy, another guy. Candy Stuffed Corpse, you still here? Richard's member, grabbing the lotion. Tyler's here. Ricardo, Kimberly, Nulu, howdy Nulu, our professional tarot card remote viewer. Our tuition. Welcome, which reminds me, before we jump right into it, let's draw our tarot card. Weekly tarot card. Hello, Petra. We're drawing the weekly card. So just the major arcana. So it's going to be one of the 22 major arcana. So I'll draw a card. And holy shit, what is that? MX $50? Thank you, Ricardo. What's MX? Is that Mexican? Now, I'm about to draw a card. See in your mind. Notice the elemental perceptions. Pesos. Okay. What's that? What's that in American? Okay, I think this. Let me see. I'm feeling. No. It's going to be this right here. It's in my mind. Let's see if you guys can feel it. Notice just in your mind any spontaneous image, any spontaneous flavor, smell, scent, sound. It's those spontaneous perceptions that just come together and maybe make something. Okay, another guy's thinking the sun. Feeling weak in the psychic realms is our tuition. You're gonna guess the Chariot? Okay. We just make our guesses, make your guesses, drop them in chat, and at the end of the stream, I'll reveal what tarot card we drew. And we're going back to it. Thank you, Ricardo. So to donate to the stretch goal today is we get 30, and I'll do a webinar on what is it? We're talking about like doing super chat goals, and Tyler said like maybe do a little talk. If we get to the stretch goal, do a talk, like a recycled talk from one of my old Theosophical, when I used to give talks, or I still kind of give talks to the Theosophical Society. So yeah, I can do that. No cat ears. I'm sorry, another guy. Oh, Tyler going Magus. So that's number one. Killer Babe, howdy. Going Temperance. Okay. So we got a couple of guesses for the tarot. But yeah, if you want to... Oh, $1 is 18 pesos. Okay, so that's like $2. Thanks, Ricardo. And every little bit helps. But yeah, if you're keen to donate, I've set it at 30. I'll do a webinar. If we get to 30, I'll do a webinar on astrotheurgy. Using the macrocosm to create transformations within our microcosm. How does that sound? If you're interested, just drop a little donation and we'll see. Kimberly's guessing strength. Okay. Yes. Indeed. Let's go. Let's just jump right in. We're right at the end of this chapter. I kind of maybe should have just pulled through at the end of last week, but we almost got to 2 hours, so I was like, nah, stop. So, let's just finish this off and we'll get to the next chapter. I keep bumping this. Hope that doesn't distort the sound too much for you guys. Oh, Tyler, thank you for the $5. So that's 2 donations. We just need a couple more. A couple more donations and we'll reach that 30 goal, guys. Now, thus preached Hermes. Oh, people of Earth. John D's in the chat, howdy. Esoteric Programmer, welcome. We're just about to start. Hermes is preaching to us. O people of Earth, men born and made of the elements, but with the spirit of the divine man within you. Man is a hybrid beast. We are made of the earth, the chaos of the elements, and there is a divine kernel within us. Rise from your sleep of ignorance. Be sober and thoughtful. Realize that your home is not in the earth, but in the light. Why have you delivered yourselves unto death, having power to partake of immortality? Repent and change your minds. So that's interesting. Repent and change your minds. If this is in ancient Greek, it would be something like, the term would be metanoia. Is it metanoia? I keep mixing up metanoia and eudaimonia. It's pretty sure it's metanoia. Metanoia is the Greek, and when in the Greek Bible, in the Greek version of the Bible, and they translate them into English, because everyone's like, oh, Jesus would have spoken in Aramaic. Yeah, but everything was written down in Greek. So the term metanoia, which is ancient, which is Greek, when they translate it into English, they translate that as repentance, but it doesn't really mean that. Oh, fuck. Metanoia literally means to turn away from. So there is a psychological connotation. Repent and change your minds. Change your minds. Change, to turn away from. What does it mean to change a mind? Really? To turn away. And to turn, what are we turning away from, and what are we turning towards? So it doesn't just mean, oh, repent, ooh, it means, no, look towards the light and be transformed. Immortality. We have the power to partake in immortality. All we need to do is turn towards the light. We need to turn towards the divine Futanari in the sky. Exactly. The divine androgyne. Depart from the dark light and forsake corruption forever. Prepare yourselves to climb through the 7 rings and to blend your souls with the eternal light. So remember what Abbas was telling us. As we ascend through the heavens, we ascend through 7 rungs. That divine femboy. No, we are the divine femboy. We must ascend to the divine femboy, and the divine androgyne must be reconciled once more. Is the window closed this stream? My window? I've kind of closed it halfway. Maybe you can still hear those birds chirping. Oh, hello. Pinami guessing the star. Okay, we got a couple of guesses. Good, good. Scouse, have I pulled a card yet? Yes, Scouse. Yes, I have. It's right here. I'm looking at it right now, Scouse. Let's see if you can guess what it is. So, some who heard mocked and scoffed and went their way, just like the jeering crowd against Nietzsche's Zarathustra, delivering themselves to the second death, from which there is no salvation. But others, casting themselves before the feet of Hermes, besought him to teach them the way of life. He lifted them gently, receiving no approbation for himself, and staff in hand went forth teaching and guiding mankind, and showing them how they might be saved. In the worlds of men, Hermes sowed the seeds of wisdom, and nourished the seeds of the immortal waters. Oh, put your seed in my immortal water, Hermes, please. You better close that window unless you want people hearing you talk about some divine Futanari. Let them listen. They need to know the truth. Scouse guessing Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Okay. And at last came the evening of his life. And as the brightness of the light of earth was beginning to go down, Hermes commanded his disciples to preserve his doctrines inviolate throughout the ages. The vision of Poimandres he committed to writing, that all men desiring immortality might therein find the way. In concluding his exposition of the vision, Hermes wrote, oh, thank you, Outtuition. Outtuition, doing my part, yes, that's it. Keep donating. If in the future There's a freaking webinar or a YouTube course for astrotheurgy. You've got everyone right now in chat to thank. So that's 3 donations. We just need to times that 3 by 10 and we're there. 3, that's like a third. No, sorry, that's like 3%. I don't know. Fractions, what are we going to do? In concluding his exposition. Wait, sorry, no, I didn't read this, did I? Yes, I did. Girl math? Exactly. We use girl math online, Tyler. In concluding the exposition of his vision, Hermes wrote, "The sleep of the body is the sober watchfulness of the mind, and the shutting of my eyes reveal the true light." This is interesting. So relax the body. Sleep, let the body sleep. And there is a sober watchfulness of the mind. And the shutting of my eyes reveals the true light. Oh, thank you, Jason Valencia. If I had time machine, I'd meet the old Greek masters. Yeah, that'd be based. That would be 10% or 1/10. So we're 10% of the way there. Adamu, hello. Also, yeah, that's 4 donations. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Yeah, there was this little interesting bit here, just this little reflection. Because the thing is, the mind... Because I've been thinking about astral projection recently. I've been going back and reading some Raja Yoga. Those who sleep and are still awake. Those who sleep but are still watchful. But here's the thing. The goal is to have this mind in a silent or watchful state. If there is fluctuation in the mind, then that means there are perceptions moving through it. The mind is partaking in the perceptions. So actually, a state of astral projection or a great imaginative dreaming isn't necessarily what you want. But to let the body sleep and to have the watchfulness of the mind kind of active. So the watchfulness of the mind itself is passive, but there's an active conscious part. And shutting of my eyes reveals the true light. So there is this light that's always shining, but we cannot see it because there's other stuff in the way. There's the physical world, the representation, but even when we close our eyes, our mental functions are continuously going. There's memory, there's desires, there's impulses. There's still perceptions. Pure is he who dwells without thought. Very good, Nulu. Yes, very wise words. Candy Stuffed Corpse, howdy. Curse my ADD, I've fallen behind in this symposium. No, we've only just started. But we've already drawn a tarot card if you want to make a guess. If you want to make a guess. This is to help train all your remote all of your remote viewing capacities. Guess what tarot card I've drawn. It's only going to be, it's Major Arcana, so don't give me a Minor Arcana, goddammit. Richard's member guessing the Tower. Okay. Now, say a number or say an image. So, sleep, body, true light, yes. My silence is filled with budding life and hope. Yes. Silence is not something dead. Silence is a vibration, of a super high frequency. Filled with budding life and hope. It's like there's that thing in the Kabbalion that is correct. Like when a propeller starts spinning, you can, if it's not spinning, it's motionless, it's still. But if it spins, you can see it spinning. But if it spins at such a high velocity, eventually it creates an image of it at stillness. That's what we're trying to reach. Hey, Jord! With the £10, your shitty $5 donation will not suffice. Do better, boys. Hey, we got 5 donations, though. We're almost there. Stillness or silence? Both. Jason Valencia guesses the devil. Okay. Thank you, George. So we got 5 donations. That's just we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Just 5 more and we'll reach 10, and that's a third. That's a third of the way there. Just boom. Easy peasy. So this is in this part here, like literally these first 2 lines, super esoteric. My silence is filled with budding life and hope, and is full of good. I want to know, whenever I see this stuff, I want to know what these translations are. Full of good. What do you mean by good? My words are the blossoms of fruit of the tree of my soul. Tree of knowledge, Kabbalistic tree. My words are the blossoms of the fruit of the tree of my soul. Profound symbolism. So much more that words can do than actions in some cases. Your actions, with actions you can build a house, but with words you can enchant entire populations. And they're not just any words, not just empty words, but they're filled, they're alive, they're living, they're fruit. Fruit is something you want to eat. It's juicy, it's sweet. People want these words. People are rejuvenated by these words. For this is the faithful account of what I received from my true mind, that is Poimandres. This is interesting. Poimandres, the great dragon. So the Poimandres is in this case the higher self, the higher intellect, the active intellect, the higher cylinders. Scouts for £5. Thank you very much. Get yourself a network attached storage, NAS, and a data backup policy. What's that? Explain it to me, please. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. You got to do it. Just because I'm a little... yeah. Help a brother out and I'll do it. I'll do it, I promise. Oh, Tyler, $10. Thank you. Oof. Maybe now if we really make it, I'm going to be like, God damn, now I have to make this freaking webinar. Let's go, fam. Get that coin in your purse. Okay. Seven donations. We're getting there. I end the stream. I get to 29 and just end the stream. Sorry, guys. We didn't make it. So this is really interesting. Poimandres, the great dragon, the Lord of the Word, through whom I became inspired by God with the truth. I wouldn't do that to you guys. I wouldn't do that to you guys. Since that day, my mind has been ever with me, and in my own soul it hath given birth to the Word. This is interesting. Since that day, my mind has ever been with me. In my own soul, it hath given birth to the Word. So the mind has given birth to the Word. And this is a whole thing in early Rosicrucianism as well. There's this whole thing about incarnation of the Word. So this is where, you know, the ancient Neoplatonic Hermetic bleeds into the Hermetic Christianity that we see in the Renaissance period in like High Middle Ages, coming into 1800s, which then is the foundation for modern occult schools. Obligatory bird is the word. That's funny, I don't know. Outtuition. I've met people who are more New Age types that cultivate a silence of the mind, yet they still clearly going to and fro, addicted to movement without guidance. I blame hustle grind mentality. Yeah, 100%, easy peasy. Yeah, New Age. There's a lot to say. But this is important. Let's lock in here for a second, guys. Because what he said here is something interesting. So what is the process? He's giving us a process here. So let your body sleep. Relax your body. Have your mind be watchful. And shut your eyes so that you experience a light. And through silence, which is actually this activity, so this watchfulness is watching something. So if you unhook your mind from all of the impressions of the world, which includes memory, or at least your base memory, because your memory is just record of external impressions. So you become introspective. In other words, the only impressions you allow your mind to watch are impressions that come from the internal world. And in doing this, you receive teachings from a higher place within you, from your true mind. So that you have a passive intellect, but you also have an active intellect. Or as Gurdjieff would say, you have an intellect, but you also have a higher emotional cylinder and a higher intellectual cylinder. You could say this is also a cognate for gaining knowledge and conversation with the holy guardian angel, except that's when you're doing ceremonial magic and you're projecting that which is higher within you as something external outside of yourself. But there's a somewhat of a cognate in the schools. So in doing this, so relax your body, silence the mind, or be watchful, close your eyes, and through this silence you perceive true light, which is really the activity of the true mind. And through the activity of this true mind, ever in me, in my own soul, it gives birth to the word. The word is reason, and reason hath redeemed me. And this is interesting because this is old style reason. Nowadays everyone talks about reason and rationality and logic. It's not, when he's talking about something in this way, it's not like the reason of the French rationalists of the Enlightenment. This is something else. For which cause with all my soul and all my strength I give praise and blessing unto God the Father, the life and the light and the eternal good. Holy is God, the Father of all things, the one who is before the first beginning. This is interesting. I always like a good negative theology. That's what I always find cringe about like atheist and Christian debates, because at any point, like a true negative theologian can just troll the atheist, just be like, do you believe God exists? No, I don't believe God exists. God precedes existence. Via definition, he does not exist. What? And then like it becomes a moot point, and instead of trying to like grind science against religion, you transcend both the science-religion dichotomy and you begin to talk about epistemology or philosophy, how you know these things. And then you can have an actual helpful discussion where, of course, the scientist would be left behind because now you're in philosophy and scientists don't learn philosophy because they're cringe. My tarot card tells me that someone is here, has not donated to Richard, but has donated to OnlyFangirls, says Jord. Exactly. We got 8 donations, guys. That's almost 10. That's almost a third of the way there. We're getting there. Jesus. Get to that donating, guys, if you want to get that astrotheurgy webinar. Maybe when we reach the end, if we still haven't reached there, I'll do a little ad and I'll give you a preview of what we would be doing. And that might get some people donating some more, but let's get to the end of this. 22 minutes in and we still haven't finished that last paragraph of this chapter. Oh, wait a second. Scouse. NAS is a hard drive redundancy system that you connect to your network router to access across the network computer. Computer explode equal data safe. Okay. Okay. How do I get one of those? DM me on Telegram. Give me a whole bunch of links. Hold my hand like I'm a little girl. I need help. Adamu. Well, I'd say existence is not subject to time-space, but time-space is subject to existence. Fair. Scientists don't learn philosophy. Yeah, I know, right? Philosophy, everything is downstream of philosophy, you have to understand. There is no science without philosophy. There's science with philosophy, and there's science with unexamined philosophical baggage. Those are the only two things you can have. I'd love me some reason. Being a reasonable individual is a high virtue to me. I'm eager to see how it's defined here. Says Outtuition. Yes. Yes, indeed. Reason seems to be a kind of an order. It looks like he's... because it's the word itself. They used to call physics natural philosophy. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, hello. Everyone's going off now. Candy Stuff Corp. I picked up Alfred North Whitehead's Process and Reality. That is a form... Yeah, I know, right? I know. One day. Richard, is there a reason for the phenomena of waking up at 3:12, 3:33 from a dream? Happens to me a lot. Huh. I mean, could be something more personal to you. It could also be that, the thing that just popped into my mind is that's when you should do your practices. So if you know anything about Eastern stuff, I'm not sure if this is actually Eastern or if this is that early modern Western occult where they just took a bunch of stuff from the East and integrated it in, so it's actually Western, but it has an Eastern paint job. But when they talk about the tattvas or the elements, there are time periods of the day that correspond to different elements. So there's a part of the day that corresponds more to fire. So you can do rituals to like the salamanders at that time, it will be more potent. There are times that correspond more to earth, and in those time periods it's good to do business, say. Whereas if you do business in the time period where the air elemental is more active, there's more things that could go wrong. Whereas in air elemental, if you pacify your body, that's a good time to do thinking and things like that. So there's the four elements kind of participate throughout the day, but there's only one point of the day that the fifth element, the Akashic principle, is active, and that's early in the morning before sunrise. And that's the best time to actually do esoteric praxis. So it could be that you're naturally waking up at those times just because there's like some energy in the environment around you, and it's like, this is a good time to do a praxis. Richard's member, $2 US, never thought I'd finish to an Australian. Bruh. Also, that donation doesn't count because it has to be $5 minimum. Scientists be like, ethics, philosophy, morals, then create horrors beyond our comprehension that cannot be undone. Yeah, I know, right? This is a good time to shoop de whoop, says Adamu. Very old reference there. Very old reference. I'm in charge of Malaysia, Adamu. Scientists now, the AI scientists are all just possessed by the Antichrist, bro. That's all you need to know. Now, the holy is God. Holy is God. Those whose will is performed and accomplished by his own powers. He hath given birth to out of himself. That's a weird phrasing, but this is interesting. Because watch this. At this rate, we're not going to finish this chapter. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Holy is God, whose will is performed and accomplished by his own powers. What does this imply? It implies that most people's will are not performed by their own powers. Most people don't have will. Most people don't do things, things merely happen to them. Most people are beholden to the power of the seven rings, the seven spheres, the seven planets. We need to go beyond that. So he hath given birth to out of himself. We must give birth. We must be born again. Be born out of ourselves. And through this, we gain the ability to have true will, i.e., we have the ability to actually do things in the world. If we don't, then we're just beholden to a random desire that will just be replaced at another point in time via another desire. And that's all most humans are. I don't think it's actually Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think it literally is Castlevania in like one of the Castlevania games when you like Simon Belmont meets Dracula. One of the lines, they start like talking in one of the lines before you fight like Alucard or something. And he's like, "What is man but a miserable pile of lies?" And it's like, yeah, what is man but a miserable pile of desires? Man is but an aggregate of different drives. And what we need to aspire is to be one thing. This is what he means here. Holy is God, who has determined that he shall be known. Holy is God, whose will is performed and accomplished by his own powers, which he hath given birth out of himself. This is what we need to become. Holy is God, who is determined that he shall be known, and who is known by his own to whom he reveals himself. Holy art thou, who by thy word, reason, has established all things. So, thy word reason, what is a word? A word is something external. A concept is something internal. So if your word is potent and true and alive, what does that mean about the internal concept structure within you? Divine femboy giving birth, says Kimberly, Jesus Christ. So, to a degree, your word is a reflection of the solar order within yourself. Your word is a reflection of your internal level of being. Some people can polish their word and use rhetoric to make their word fancy, but it's still empty. It's like there's still an intuition, and like, you know, when you watch a politician or a lawyer talk and you just kind of like, they sound correct, but in the inside you're like, this guy's screwing me over. It's like that's how you can kind of tell that there's something empty behind that. The word is logos in this context, no. Yes. Holy art thou, of whom all nature is the image. That's very interesting. The image. Image is such an interesting term because this word is translated so oddly, and it's used oddly throughout magic. Because image is sometimes image is used in the emerald tablets. Image is used in alchemy, image is used in Kabbalah, it's used in Sufism. The term image is quite nebulous. You know what's funny? The term shekel actually just means image as well. Because it's a reference to, give me your shekels. When they say image, it's actually a contraction. Give me the image of the emperor, is what they're saying. Because the coin has the emperor's face on it. And so, give me a picture of the emperor is what they're saying. But instead of saying, give me a picture of the emperor, it gets contracted to just give me an image. Or give me a shekel. And that's what a shekel is. It's an image. But that's irrelevant to this. No whites in the chat. What's going on? Made in God's image. What does that mean? So it's, holy art thou, of whom all nature is the image. Give me your memes. Exactly. Exactly. Hey, Necromonger, long time no see. Is it related to mental image, imagination at all? So this is interesting, because in our imagination, we can make images. And so imagination then plays this big part. Because there's this whole thing of, in theurgy, there's different types of theurgy. There's theurgy with the celestial stuff, there's theurgy with the monad, but then there's also theurgy to draw the divine into images. And that can literally mean like a statue you make, and then you draw divinity into the statue to animate it. Or you create an image in your mind and draw divinity into it, and you're able to correspond and like start conversing with the gods within yourself. Richard has fully colonized his chat. What? We are merely money drones. Exactly. Donate now to get more astral theurgy. So, of whom all nature is the image. So that's interesting. What is he saying? Is nature merely an image, as in he can manipulate nature? Or is he saying the person who can create an image that then contains all of nature? Because that's kind of like you're making a servitor that's like an image of God that you can then converse with. Holy art thou, whom the inferior nature has not formed. Oh, that's interesting. So this is to God, obviously, who has no inferior nature. Holy art thou, who art stronger than all powers, based. Holy art thou, who art greater than all excellency. Holy art thou, who art better than all praise. Astral theurgy? I'll take two. No, astro-theurgy. Sorry. It's not astral theurgy, it's astro. So not astrology and not just theurgy. It's astro-theurgy. Yeah, so it's kind of the second type of theurgy is what I'll do a webinar on. Can some of these attributes be interpreted as what a master or higher has? Exactly. That's kind of my interpretation of some of these. This is what we're kind of aiming for. So these are kind of attributes of God, but these are also attributes that we ourselves need to obtain, like a will that is accomplished and born out of itself. We need to incarnate the word. We need to have an image of nature. All these phrases reminds me like Neoplatonic above a bit. Yes. So the Hermetic and the Neoplatonic and the Gnostic are actually very close together. Like, here's Neoplatonism, here's Hermeticism, and maybe like... Carl knows what I mean. Carl knows what I mean. It all comes together. Give me that astral booty, says Adamu. Thank you for the $5, Adamu. And that's 10. We reached 10 donations, guys. We're a third of the way. We're a third of the way to getting an astrotheurgy course. So is this walking through Genesis in a Gnostic way? We're not walking through Genesis. He's just giving the attributes of God. God. They're all saying the sky is blue in their own way. Yeah, because this is my take on perennialism. Because people talk about a spiritual path and they're all like, oh, but there's different spiritual paths. You know, there's different... And then other people will be like, there's different paths, but there's one mountain. And then other people will be like, no, there's different mountains. And it's like, you can wank and flank and splank all you want. But in the end, whether there's multiple paths or multiple mountains, the sky is one sky. Tomberg says demiurgism, ex nihilo, and emanationism are all correct in the High Priestess. Based. Tomberg is always based. And everything he says is correct. Nah, just kidding. But, like, I definitely disagree with him with some of Chapter 12. But nonetheless... oh, and my axe is Candy Stuffed Corpse with another $5. Thank you so much. 11 bucks, guys. We're over a third of the way there. Spectral Valkyrie. I missed the finger in Hull because of a crypto. Oh, that's pretty funny. The finger butthole. Yeah, no, I was just saying how Hermeticism and Neoplatonism and Gnosticism, a lot of people want to separate them, but to a degree, they are all one. Why are they all one? Because they all soteriologically, as in salvation, or what actually saves you, is knowledge. And not just data, but a kind of realization that transfigures the person's being itself. Just Neoplatonism is more... So it's like that there's one thing, but one has a Platonic job, one has a Hermes is cool paint job on it, and the other one has a Jesus is cool paint job on it. But Gnosticism, Hermeticism, and Neoplatonism all kind of share this one aspect. Sorry, another guy says, yeah, but what about attributes like Father of all things, the one who is before the first beginning? Whomst the inferior nature has not formed. How can they be interpreted for a magician? So it could be more of your inferior nature is then something you have full dominion over. And then the Father of all things before first beginning, well, there's an aspect of us that is eternal, i.e. that existed before creation. So it's identification with that thing, or having that thing become primary kind of thing. That's how I'm kind of construing it, at least, another guy. Necromonger, every time I mention perennial, people think it means making all religions the same. Makes me cry. I know, right? Cringe. Or there's the other one where they're like, oh, you just think all religions are the same? Or all religions are equal? And it's like, no. Literally no. Exactly the opposite. Because it's like, yeah. Oh, but there's this one tribe in Africa called the Pee Poo Poo tribe, and they say have this different mythology, and therefore you have to put it on the same level field as 2,000 years of freaking Neoplatonic philosophy, and it negates everything you say, and blah, 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 perennialism. It's like, no, no, no. Read 7 Sermons of the Dead by Jung. One day. Why don't you throw the word syncretism in there? Says Spectral Valkyrie. Yeah. Syncretism good. Scouse, £5. Thoughts on Noah-idism? I don't know. What is it? Explain it to me. Data Outtuition says, data is less than information, which is less than knowledge, which is less than wisdom. Pretty much. Pretty much. The knowledge or gnosis that we want to attain is something meta-rational. That's the thing you have to remember. You can reason a whole bunch of things, but then there's the meta-rational thing that brings it all together. Anyway, we're 40 minutes in, and I still haven't finished this. So let's keep going. Okay. Holy art thou, whomst all nature. Yeah, I read all of that. Better than praise. Please, bro, finish the chapter. Yeah, I know, right? Stop distracting me, guys. Accept these reasonable sacrifices from a pure soul and a heart stretched out unto thee. That's another key. Heart stretched out. What that heart doing, though? Your heart does something in praxis. And this is interesting because it makes it seem... The first parts always make it seem ascetic. Oh, you know, let your body rest, close your eyes, be in silence, but have your heart stretched out. You gotta stretch it. You gotta goatsy the heart out. No, I'm kidding. That's too sacrilegious. I take it back. Your heart stretches as in as if it's an arrow. It goes somewhere and moves. The heart is in extension. The heart as a type of consciousness. Your consciousness extends, but it's a heart consciousness. Not a mere mental movement, in other words. So there's something of your consciousness that extends into the higher intellectual faculties, into the dragon, the poimandaries, the higher cylinders. But it's not your mere intellect. So in a Gurdjieffian sense, you have the human machine. You've got your intellect, your emotion, your motor cylinder, instinct, sexual cylinder, and you've got those higher cylinders, but you've got to connect to them. The way you connect to it, yes, you got to work on the intellectual cylinder and all of the other cylinders and have them balanced. But one of the keys is through the emotional cylinder, via extending the consciousness through there, or having this as a center of gravity. You're able to extend into the higher thing. O thou unspeakable, unutterable, to be praised with silence. That's very interesting. There are some things, some attributes of a master or of an initiate that cannot be trained like normal skills. You know, like a normal skill, like if you want to get good at like juggling, you do juggling. You do the activity. There are some attributes that masters have that can only be trained via sitting in silence. I beseech thee to look mercifully upon me, that I may not err from the knowledge of thee, and that I may enlighten those that are in ignorance, my brothers and thy sons. Therefore I believe thee, and bear witness unto thee, and depart in peace and in truthfulness into thy light and life. Blessed art thou, O Father. The man thou hast fashioned would be sanctified with thee, as thou hast given him power to sanctify others with thy word and thy truth. We must gain a boon that allows us the powers of God. The vision of Hermes, like nearly all of the Hermetic writings, is an allegorical exposition of a great philosophic and mystic truths, and its hidden meaning may be comprehended only by those who have been raised into the presence of the true mind. Perhaps. Outtuition says, enjoy the silence. I love Deepash mode. Is Hermes worshipped? Nah. Hermes is just a bro that you high-five on the way to God. I mean, in a sense, you could worship him in the same way you'd worship a guru, but I wouldn't worship gurus nowadays. That's just icky and gross. Necromanga says, Steiner says, heart is the next area of evolution. Mind is just current tech. That's a good, interesting way to look at it. Yeah, you can kind of go with that. Steiner's got some things. Sometimes he says things that I like. Ooh, next chapter. We're gonna initiate our pyramids, guys. Guys, get out your pyramids. It's time to... So we'll start this chapter. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. The initiation of the pyramid. There's actually like a text for the initiation of the pyramid, but it's hard to find now because of this chapter by Manly P. Hall. This is always what comes up. So I'm just reading chat. There is only one God, and Hermes is his messenger, says Valkyrie. JK. Indeed, indeed. There is only one God, the monad. And Hermes is one of his messengers. There's only one capital G God, because we're going panentheism here. There are many lowercase g gods, and they're cool. Well, they're all relative to us. Some of them are going to be dicks. Some of them are going to be chads. Some of them, high five. Some of them, you probably don't want to meet in a dark alley. Now, supreme among the wonders of antiquity, unrivaled by the achievements of later architects and builders, the Great Pyramid of Giza bears mute witness to an unknown civilization which, having completed its predestined span, passed into oblivion, eloquent in its silence, inspiring in its majesty, divine in its simplicity. The Great Pyramid is indeed a sermon in stone. Its magnitude overwhelms the puny sensibilities of man. Among the shifting sands of time, it stands as a fitting emblem of eternity itself. Who were the illumined mathematicians who planned its parts and dimensions? The master craftsmen who supervised its construction? The skilled artisans who trued its blocks of stone? The earliest and best-known account of the building of the Great Pyramid is that given by the highly revered but somewhat imaginative historian Herodotus. Oh, another $5. Thank you, Tyler. Your pyramid is ready. Whip out those pyramid guys. We're almost there. Also in donations, we're 13. That's like we're 2 off of 15. 2 more donations, guys. And we'll be halfway. We'll be halfway there. Outtuition says, your regional manager is still your boss, even though he's not the CEO. Oof. Professor Jiang and Giorgiani both said monad lately, so I'm locked in. Hell yeah. Based. When did Giorgiani say monad? I mean, he's probably... I don't know if he... Like, because this is the thing. Is there one monad, or are there different monads that just kind of flow in a great river of flux, like in a kind of a Leibniz kind of way? Anyone know combinatorics? I wish. I need to, like, learn more about it and stuff. Because the whole thing with combinatorics is, I hear that term a lot, and where I hear it is when people talk about Giordano Bruno, and they're all like, Giordano Bruno took Raymond Lully's memory system and then fused it with combinatorics and kind of created a system that let him have ChatGPT in his head. And I'm like, that gets me rock hard, not gonna lie. Like, I'm throbbing just thinking about that. As an Aquarian, I'm like, I'd love to do that. Lies of P also talks about the monad. We get an esoteric video games in here now, huh? $5 from Necromonger. Black Obsidian Pyramid on my desk is enjoying the talk. Thank you. Ooh. The circle is the monad, pierced, as per his explanation. That's sexy. That's sexy. Esoteric programmer, I'll let you know if I get Neuralink. Don't get Neuralink, bro. Perhaps the monad is constantly trying to reform itself and is in some sort of entropy, struggle with itself, and creation to return to the singular. I mean, that's kind of... Gurdjieff is very close to that, although what Gurdjieff says is there's kind of an absolute, but the absolute is in a state of entropy, and so it creates creation. And so there's all these kind of levels of creation, but then the human level is the important level. Because of human creativity, we can coat higher being bodies and do something new, and these higher being bodies actually kind of can go back into the monad, and this breaks entropy and allows the absolute to maintain itself. That's basically kind of Gurdjieff's take. And so you kind of have this, this is why humans exist. We're a part of the ecology of the conscious universe. Oh, Scouse, also another donation. We reached 15. Guys, we're halfway there to an astrotheurgy webinar. Sorry, Scouse says, Super Chat, I've been thinking that the ineffable name of God is ineffable, not because it cannot be comprehended, but that it is literally audible silence. Oh, that's sexy. So when you're sitting in silence, it's like you're mantralizing the ineffable name of God. And that vibration is what, like, you know, awakens everything. That's perfect. Nulu says, aren't the Henads the eternal things in flux, rays of moon? Possibly, yeah. Get Neuralink, then we'll mind melt. Nah. Transhumanism, I'm skeptical of it. Sorry, Georgiani Maxis. Also, those dogs are going off. Now, the earliest and best known account of the building of the Great Pyramid, yes, Herodotus, lay down your stories. The pyramid was built in steps. Battlement-wise, as it is called, or according to others, altar-wise. After laying the stones for the base, they raised the remaining stones to their places by means of machines formed of short wooden planks. The first machine raised them from the ground to the top of the first step. On this, there was another machine which received the stone upon its arrival and conveyed it to the second step, whence a third machine advanced it still higher. Whether they had as many machines as there were steps in the pyramid, or possibly they had but a single machine, which, being easily moved, was transferred from tier to tier as the stone rose. Both accounts are given, and therefore I mention both. The upper portion of the pyramid was finished first, then the middle, and then the final part, which was the lowest and nearest to the ground. This seems kind of esoteric because you're building something from the top down. So there's this descent, emanation. Oh, thank you, Kimberly, for another 5. Almost there. We're over halfway, guys. Over halfway. There is an inscription in Egyptian characters on the pyramid which records the quantity of radishes, onions, and garlic consumed by the laborers who constructed it. And man, that makes me hungry for some soup. I perfectly well remember that the interpreter who read the writing to me said that the money expended in this way was 1,600 talents of silver. If this, then, is a true record, what vast sum must have been spent on the iron tools used in the work, and on the feeding and clothing of the laborers, considering the length of time the work lasted, which has already been stated 10 years. Bruh. And the additional time, no small space, I imagine, which must have been occupied by quarrying of stones, their conveyance, and the formation of the underground apartments. Yes. Underground apartments. He even confirms it. There's a maze underneath the Great Pyramids. Confirmed. Herodotus never lies. I wonder how transhumanism would affect certain traditions like Nigong. Incredibly negatively. That's why I'm skeptical. Yes, Valkyrie. And with your consent, I can upgrade you to the Overman. No. I heard someone say Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh is the sound of inhalation, exhalation for the first and last words of God's name. Yeah, possibly. Potato leek soup at the Jefferson. Oh, baby, that would be so good. In your opinion, how were the pyramids built, Richard? Be dead ass with me. So I've heard some like really interesting schizo stuff about how the pyramids were built, because I'm an Atlantis enjoyer, right? And we have to understand that there's two Egypts. There's the Egypt of history, and there's the prehistory Egypt, which is an outpost of Atlantis. And one schizo thing I've heard is that the Atlanteans had different tech. One of the things that you usually hear is they had some kind of cymatic sound tech, which could levitate rocks, or use some kind of magnetism that allowed you to magnetize not metal, but like rocks themselves. So huge stones could be lifted out of quarries and like telepathically or using like mantras moved and laid like that. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty based. That's pretty based. One other one I heard, which I've never heard anyone else say besides one author, which for some reason just sticks into my mind and is really intriguing to me. There's this one where he says there was a type of Atlantean science that allowed minerals to act like vegetables. And the implication there is, so you have a place where you want to put a block. What you do is you cut a small block out and you put it where it will go, and then you apply the Atlantean magic on it and you make the block act like a vegetable, i.e. it grows and just grows into place. And I'm like, all of these are just hella schizo, but that one, just because I had never heard it before, just made me think like, wow, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like kind of crystal growing tech, but just for any type of mineral. So I was just like, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, yeah. Like, so, and so I like to entertain those ideas. So yeah, I hope that answered your question there. Outtuition. Necromonger. My monad is more the Abraxas god. Okay, cool. Abraxas is based. Abraxas is more a personification of the absolute. With all the snakes and roosters. So no slaves, says Outtuition. There never was slaves. That's also something that's disproven. They've disproved that for years about the pyramids, that like the actual building of the pyramids, they found, because they found graffiti around like temple sites and things, and all the graffiti of like the workers who built the pyramids, and they all took, the graffiti is all of them taking pride in their work. Like, we're this gang, and we're the workers here, and this other gang, they suck, but we're the better workers. And it's like, it seems to be more of like a government doll project, and actually, because if you think about it, it's like they're at the very least very sacred sites. You wouldn't have icky, gross slaves building your temples. Ew. Filthy, unwashed slaves. No. You gotta get workers. Bye, honey. My wife's just going out. Everyone talking about Baphomet now. Baphomet. Nulu asks, Baphomet, as I understand it, is an illustration of the opposite within man in his fallen nature before the solar awakening. A dark moon. So my interpretation of Baphomet is he is a part of us, but he is a part of us that's the Lucifer. But specifically, there's this part of us that's Luciferic, but it is think of like, you know, man as we're an overlaying of forces at different rungs of divinity. There's a part of us that's elemental, there's a part of us that's human, and there's a part of us that's more divine. Think of like, and this is where I exit from a couple of Neoplatonic and Kabbalistic ideas, because I think the very highest part of us also descended, but because it's the highest part, it can't participate in creation, and so it warps. And what it warps into is the Baphomet. And so the Baphomet is the highest and the lowest. That's why there's all these contradictions about it. And it operates similar to like the Lucifer that tempts us. The Lucifer is actually our trainer. He's actually kind of trolling us, kind of putting obstacles in our way, because to overcome an obstacle, you need to build an attribute, a corresponding attribute, or, you know, you succeed, you rise to the occasion. If there were no obstacles, if the world was flat, we would never be able to work. But because there are mountains, we can struggle against something and reach a higher point where we can reconnect to something. And so that's what the Lucifer does. He puts mountains in our way. he gives us the trials. So the Baphomet is this thing that is somewhat antagonistic, but as we do the work within us, it's purified and it's transformed. So the Baphomet actually goes through stages, and actually solve et coagula. It dissolves and recoagulates as some beautiful angelic thing and becomes the Lucifer. So the Baphomet and the Lucifer are this Promethean aspect of our, you could say, our highest cylinders. And it wants to reconcile with us, but it's like we got to kind of do the work in that sense. We need to prove that we're worthy. And as we work through it, it gets more beautiful. Kind of like, you know, the fairy tale or folk tale of like Nanny McPhee? Of like, you know, there are these gross kind of kids. There are kids that misbehave, and this Nanny McPhee comes and she's like kind of a gargoyle and she torments them. But as they are more well behaved, she slowly becomes more beautiful, and then eventually turns into a young girl. That's sort of the principle. The kids in this state are the essence, the human part of us. The human part of us needs to do a specific work. And as the parts of our being do work and reorganize, reconvene, alchemically transform, the Baphomet also goes through transformation. That's my take. It's a little controversial. Comedian Tim Dillon has a great bit about slaves that built the pyramids. Cool. Spectral Valkyrie, thank you for the $15. And saying beer built the pyramids. Real. Apparently the oldest beer in like they've ever found is in like ancient Egypt. And the ancient Egypt were like beer drinkers. That just totally forget about wine drinking civilizations. Beer drinking civilizations were hardcore. So what's up with the Baphomets and the Templars? So yeah, I mean, the Templars, they have the Baphomet because they have that knowledge. So, esoteric programmer, does that line up with shadow work from Jung? So here's the thing about shadow. Also, thank you, Tyler, for the $5. $18. Two more donations. 2 more donations, and we hit 20 donations. Then we're Baphomet maxing. Whoa, 100 Mexican pesos. I see the 100, then I'm like, MX, and I'm like, oh. But no. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you so much. So, esoteric programmer, does this line up with shadow work from Jung? Kind of. So, how do you define shadow work? Shadow work is what? Is it integrating your shadow? Is it indulging in the dark side? Not necessarily. This is gonna take too long to explain. The whole thing about shadow work is there is power within you that is suppressed. And it's not that you're releasing that power just willy-nilly. You're gaining dominion over that power. That's why it's integrated. So the Lucifer, you gain dominion over the Lucifer and he joins the prince. So it's like we should be the king in a castle. Remember that castle I was talking about? The interior castle that we all have inside of us? In our interior castle, it's chaos because the throne's empty and all of the workers think they're the king and they all fight for the throne. We need to retake the throne, but then all of the other parts need to find their place. The Lucifer is the jester, the court jester. The clown has a very Luciferic symbolism to it, but all of these things are reconciled. So, what's the best image of shadow work or reshadow integration? Hercules killing the Nemean lion. How does Hercules kill the Nemean lion? He chases it into a cave for the subconscious. He seals the cave and then he like strangles it to death. But what does he do with the Nemean lion after it's killed? So the shadow is killed. It's not just let out into the world and the Nemean lion just torments the villagers. No. The Nemean lion is killed. But he, uses because the Nemean lion's mane can't be pierced by any mortal weapon, so he uses the cores of the Nemean lion itself to skin itself, and he makes like a little kind of cloak out of it. And so Hercules has this super light cloak that can't be pierced by any mortal weaponry. So it's like this Giga Chad upgrade. But he gets this, and it's like, so what does he do? There's a great monster, the Nemean lion, and after he kills it, he takes its power. He integrates its power into himself. So now he's immune to attacks from weapons of mortal man. So like an iron sword will just bounce off of him because he has the Nemean lion pelt on him. Same with the Hydra. When he kills the Hydra, what does he do after he kills the Hydra? He dips his arrows in Hydra's poison, and then he's got like one-shot kill Hydra stuff. That's what you do with a shadow. That's what shadow work integration really means. It doesn't just mean you let your shadow hang out. And it's like, well, that's just my truth. You have to deal with it. No, people who are like that are assholes. You fucking die. You change. You transfigure. Your being literally changes. And something that was negative, you have complete dominion over, and you can use that now. So your rage, you don't just let out your rage, but at the same time, you're not someone who can be pushed around. You're not the wind that just blows down all of the wheat. Like if someone has an opinion, you just storm in and frickin' steamroll everyone in conversation. But at the same time, you're not a little wheat shaft that's like, oh, okay, everyone has their own opinions. It's like there's this thing. It's like not one way and not the other. That's what integration is. There's power within us, and it needs to be integrated properly. Did that make sense, esoteric programmer? Where am I? Where did you read this info on beer, Richard? No, this is just a thing about ancient Egypt. Pretty sure that in ancient Egypt, the pharaohs had drank beer on the throne. That was one of the whole things. Is archaeologists found like long golden straws or something, and it was, or there was descriptions or something. They would just have a beer keg, and there would be a golden straw from the beer keg to the pharaoh, and he just sip beer all day long while on his throne doing his pharaoh things. Like that was a whole kind of shtick about ancient Egypt. A video explaining Jung's shadow work would probably get you a ton of views. I guess. Maybe. Actually, maybe I should do that. I'll put that on the list. Yo, Rich, you should write on Substack or Quora. I do have a Substack, which I sometimes intermittently post on. Maybe I should post a shadow work interpretation. YouTube forces you to use your local currency. That's all good, bro. My shadow and I are besties. Exactly. That's the first step. Get to know your shadow. Take them out. Have a cup, slice of orange, cup of tea, and then while they're turned around, beat them over the head, cut them fucking open, and then just like drain the blood into a pitcher and fucking drink it and absorb its powers. That's what you do with your shadow. Reconciliation. Either you reconcile by like sexual fusion with your shadow, or you absolutely fucking murder your shadow and absorb its powers. Those are the only two paths. None of this new age namby-pamby love is light and light only. No. You want to do shadow work? Those are the only two options. Sex, magic, or war god. Choose. I've always seen Baphomet as a kind of small fry in the grand scheme. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. Because of the Knights Templar being heretics, it just gets perpetuated and it gets absorbed into cringe modern Satanism. Like, look, you know how cringe modern Satanism is? You know what's the friggin' Leviathan cross? Oh my god, what am I fucking doing? Leviathan cross. This here is a symbol of modern Satanism. You know what this really is? This is an alternate symbol for sulfur in alchemy. This is an alchemist symbol. And they just freaking took it and were like, it means demons. And it's like, they're cringe. They're just cringe. Satanists just take stuff and make it cringe. Baphomet has nothing to do with Satanism. And the Church of Satan taking Baphomet and putting it up there is just like, lol, hilarious. You can just ignore everything they do because they're just cringe. Fun fact, Hercules' animated movie, the lion skin he wears is Scar from The Lion King. Oh my god, that's hilarious. My shadow is a repeated nightmare of creepy lady peeking at me through the window at night. Well, you know what you gotta do. Get out a sword or get out the lubricant. No, I'm kidding. Just, you gotta do your work, dog. I think this is the most off-topic I've seen, Rich. Yeah, I know. We just kind of went full off-topic. Also, 19 donations, guys. One more. One more and we reach 20. One more. Sulfur is stinky. Yeah, I guess so. It does make sense for the Satanists. Church of Satan is mega cringe, 100%. Never go to the Church of Satan unless you want to die of cringe. That's how they sacrifice people. They actually don't like murder people, they just bring them to the church and automatically die of cringe, and that's how it happens. Also, thank you Esoteric Programmer for the $20. Jung Maxing, battling the great Python of Delphi. Whoops. And Finami, now you're 66% of the goal. Yeah, we're over. 9 more donations, guys. Where did the Baphomet originate? I think so. The Baphomet. Also, there's like some cipher with the Baphomet. How Baphomet is also Sophia. Oh my god. Sorta lube, which way, modern man? Tyler, thank you for the $5. That's 22. We've only got 8 more donations. Oof, I'm kind of getting scared now because now you got. Now I'm like obligated to do something. I'm so lazy. Or both, exactly. Did you just take both pills? Exactly. Now, should we get to some more pyramids, or should I just keep waffling until we reach an hour and a half? You know what? I'm gonna I'll just call it here for reading. We'll get to this next week, but maybe I'll advertise now what the Astrotheurgy course or webinar will be. So, Astrotheurgy. Within us, you know, we have a star sign. We have a star sign, but within us are actually all 12 star signs, right? You know this? Well, now you do. Within us are all 12 star signs. So I'm doing this off the top of my head. When you're born, different planets are in different houses and are influencing different zodiac signs. And so this energy influencing us pulls out those attributes and makes them more pronounced. So that's what basically our stats are, our horoscope is. That's what our stats are. But fundamentally, you have all of the potential within you. So within us, also, thank you Scousel for $5. Thank you Ricardo for the more pesos. Had the people who made large donations made the same donation but in $5 increment, we would hit the target. Hey, 24. 6 more. pull out my Virgo moon, Richard. So fundamentally, within us, we have all 12 star signs. But their energies are sealed by gates. There are 12 gates within us. Because the zodiac corresponds to the body. Think of this like chakras, but instead of 7, there are 12, and they correspond to parts of the body. So Aries for the head, Taurus for the throat, Gemini for the arms, and you can say internally for the lungs, Cancer for the boobies, especially for women, Leo is heart, Virgo is specifically the stomach or digestion, solar plexus, Libra for them hips don't lie, but also your kidneys, Scorpio for you know where, boing, and for the women it's the vajayjay, Sagittarius for them thighs, them thick anime thighs, Capricorn for the knees, Oni-san, And also bones, Capricorn for bones. Like sometimes if you see someone with a lot of Capricorn in their chart, they just automatically have a really pronounced jawline. Even women. Capricorn women, or women who have a lot of Capricorn in their chart, it's just like they got that strong model jawline. And really like sharp features. What do they call? And the next one's Aquarius, but it's like, I'm blanking. What's the part of your body between your feet and your knees? Oh my god. The wombs of the leg, what are they called? No. What are the... No, calves. Thank you, Nulu. Your calves, Jesus Christ. Not your cankles. Your calves. The wombs of your leg in... Is that in Brazilian? In Brazil, they call the calves the wombs of the leg. See, I remember that, but I couldn't remember the word for calf. Your calves and shins. That's Aquarius. And then your feet. Your feet picks are Pisces. So this 12-part breaking of the human body, those 12 parts correspond to those 12 zodiac signs. So each of those 12 parts has a zodiacal gate attributed to it. So fundamentally, and you can do this as a single practice. Jesus washing the feet equals the 2 fish, Pisces. Initiation starts at the feet. So fundamentally, you can do this over a year, which I've done before. So via doing a specific practice, so you have a practice for each of the zodiac signs. And it's not like, oh, I'm a Leo, I'll do the Leo practice. No. It's in the month of Leo, when those... only 5 left. Only 5 donations left. Even if we don't make for the webinar, I'm still going to put this, or the online course, or whatever I do, or whatever I do this as. I'll still probably do this eventually. This is just going to, if we reach 30, that just pushes it up on the list. Bumps it up on my to-do list. Where was I? And also, thank you for Tyler for the extra 5. So, the practice that corresponds to Leo, done in the month of Leo, calls down those energies and opens that gate. So it opens, so each doing the practice in the corresponding month corresponds to those gates, but you can also do these practices at any time. If you want to be a Giga Chad, you could do them like do them in a 12-hour, like if you have a day and you want to do a 12-hour practice, you could do each practice for 1 hour. But you could also, and I'll do this as a part of the course, through sympathetic magic, you can also call to those energies outside of the specific period, the time of the month. But fundamentally, the gates open through the opening of the gates. And energies, both celestial and terrestrial, flow through the container, the human body then, and then are able to mix together. And this is initiation, true internal initiation. The upper and lower combine together, the upper triangle and the lower triangle. What are we talking about? Could you make a Substack explaining the difference between those who integrate Lucifer while others worship Antichrist? Okay, I'll do that. I'll do 2 Substacks just for you guys. I'm going to get to some things today, and then I'll write up 2 Substacks. Let me just put this on my to-do list, actually. Substack articles. Integration of Shadow and Lucifer versus the Antichrist. Substack. Integrate Shadow and... No, how do I do the thing where I make it dot points? Integrate my shadow into my pussy. And... what the fuck? Oh yeah, that's right. The Lucifer versus the Antichrist. Versus Antichristos. Because I think they're 2 different things. Save. Mm-mm. Washing. What are we talking about? Feet here, guys. You wash with your tongue? Yeah, cool. Since we're going full off topic, thoughts on Michael Ford? I have no idea who that is. Bang, subbing right now. I think I've got the... Do I have my Substack link in the friggin' channel descriptions? Yeah, it is. It is there. Everybody subscribe to my Substack in the description. Oh, husband, you donated too much to the stream. Now we are homeless. That's pretty funny, Tyler. What's your Substack handle? Check it out. It's in the description, bruh. It should just be Richard Ruark. So we're in Libra right now. So that would be the focus of astrological exercise. Look, you can just wait to start till Aries, or you can just start doing the exercises. I mean, you can just practice them. Or you could do one a day. And I'll tell you the source for actually my method of astrotheurgy. Gnostic Rosicrucian Astrology. If you want to buy this book, you can buy this book, or you can wait for my webinar. That's what you guys can do. I should totally get out an affiliate link and post it somewhere. Alas, Richard, he is the former co-president of the Great Church of Lucifer. Oh, okay, I have no idea. No idea. Oh my god. Oh, sorry, that was showing my address. Everyone ignore that. I'm gonna have to go through this stream and clip that out. But anyway, let's just go to the Labubu website. So guys, remember, Labubus are demonic. And we're getting to the end. We made it to 27. We made it to 27. So, you know, even though we didn't make it to 30, that's all good. That's all good. I think we'll still do it. We'll still do it. There's a lot of food, and there's a lot of food for thought, and thank you for participating in the stream. Next week, we'll get to the pyramids, I promise. I won't go too off topic. Gee, we did almost none of this this week. God damn. But, you know, thank you to everyone who donated. Drop some birds in the chat for Carl. He's been hanging out watching us and judging us all. And for those of you who want to know what the tarot card is, where's Richard Valencia, by the way? Because I'm pretty sure Richard Valencia guessed that it was the devil. Funnily enough, talking about, I don't know, we started talking about the Lucifer and Church of Satan and Baphomet. We went off topic and talked, and I didn't do that. That was you guys who did that. So once again, I pulled a card, and somehow the theme of our friggin' this entire stream got pulled into talking about assholes who drive their car when I'm streaming. God damn it. Inconsiderate. Yeah, this is really interesting. Once again, I draw a tarot card and the entire energy of the stream gets pulled towards the tarot card. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Jason Valencia got the card right this time. Chain him to the devil, bro. Exactly. So yeah, congratulations, Jason. Your prize is in the mail. But yeah, good quarterly live stream. Yeah, I know, right? Basically. Yeah, Jason Valencia, yeah. I'm pretty sure you got it. You got it. Let me hold it up again for you, bro. What were you thinking of? Did you just guess? Or did you see a little something, Jason? Did the divine androgyne Futanari your femboy and you just spontaneously saw an image, or what was going through? I have done some RV. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. It's you and Nulu now, 1-for-1, 1-on-1. We got to get like a leaderboard started. So Nulu's got 1, and Richard's got 1. That's interesting, Kimberly. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should probably start a website as well. God damn, there's so many things I gotta do. I'm so unorganized. Anyway, new video coming tomorrow. It's just a short one. It's just me shilling out a friend's product, but yeah, and I gotta properly the RV training program. I gotta properly get the targets. Oh, there's so much stuff I need to do. I'm sorry, guys. Thanks for putting me on Lottom Absolute Peak. Hey, Lottom Glaze. We did it again, another guy. It's good to know Enigma cries in disorganized Aquarius. Exactly. That's. I need to, like, connect to my inner Capricorn. Oof, but I'm gonna eat after this. I'm so hungry right now. I'm gonna cook up some hearts. Thank you all for coming along. See you all next week. Auf Wiedersehen.